Alright, so here is an overview of all the stuff I'm going to be bringing with me on the hike. Pacific Crest Trail. And it looks like a lot of stuff to me, but we'll see. I'll have to try it out here at the start and see how everything works together. What I need, what I don't really need or use, and send stuff home accordingly. But I guess we'll just go through in sections here what I've got. So over here on this side is my basic sleeping setup. I've got my tent. It's a contrail tarp tent. So I'll have a little bit after this showing it set up so you can see what that looks like. I've got my sleeping bag here in a waterproof compression sack. So it's a down sleeping bag, the Marmot Plasma 15-degree sleeping bag. So I think that'll be warm enough for anything I encounter. Maybe too warm in some spots. Going with the Thermarest Z Light for my sleeping pad. And I'm thinking it's a bit long. It's a little bit heavy. It weighs 13 ounces. I can maybe cut off a section or two to lighten it up a little bit and you know, still be pretty comfortable. So we'll see on that. Next, let's go here. Rain gear and jackets. So I've got this. It's my rain jacket. It's the Marmot Precip jacket. It's got a pretty good peaked hood on it and armpit zips. So I think that'll keep my top pretty dry for the most part. And to accompany it, I've got here a rain kilt or a rain skirt. So basically, instead of rain pants, it's just got a big, you know, elastic band that goes around your waist and keeps the water running off your legs. I'm also bringing here a trekking umbrella, which I was really looking for this Go Light umbrella that had a basically a reflective silver coating on the outside, because I kind of want to use this as shade while I'm walking through the desert, as well as rain if I encounter it. When I encounter it, I should say. This thing's a little heavy as is. It's carbon fiber, and it's got this flashlight built into the bottom, which I may actually, you know, saw off the bottom of that to make it a little bit lighter and you know, see what I can do there. For warmth, I've got this Marmot Dry Climb wind shirt. So it's got a pretty good, you know, wind buffeting outside and a pretty good thermal inside. And I was really trying to decide between that and my down jacket there, which is the Mountain Hardwear nitrous jacket. It's got a pretty nice hood on it, and I think overall that thing's just a bit too heavy as down jackets go. I guess the counterpart of this one is the Ghost Whisperer, which is a little bit lighter fabric and just overall a lighter down jacket, probably the same warmth. So what I may do is just have that sent to me later on down the trail as I see, you know, if I'm getting too cold or whatnot. I'll have it sent and send this one home. But for now, that's what I'm going to try, the wind shirt there. I've got a couple of my water containers. So the platypus bag that holds 2 liters, and I'm going to counter that with, or pair it up with, a couple more bottles. I don't have them here yet, but I'll probably get either the Powerade, which holds almost a liter, and there's also a real tall smart water bottle that a lot of people use. It's pretty light. Maybe I'll get 2 of those, and those hold a liter as well. So total I want to have the capacity of 5 or 6 liters for the desert, for those really long dry spells. So I'll get those. For some other just miscellaneous items here, I've got the Petzl Tika headlamp, which is pretty good. It has a red LED and a white LED. You know, conserve your night vision with the red. There's one feature I for sure wanted to have there. I've got a larger tent stake here that's still fairly light. It's about 3 ounces, and you know, I can use this as a stake if I need to, but primarily I'm going to use it for digging my holes. I'll probably mark off, you know, 7 inches on there for my holes when I gotta go to the bathroom, so I dig those pretty easily and do my business. A little bit of extra cord in case I ever need to hang my food or have some other lines break that I need to replace. Compass, just a pretty basic compass. It's got the bearing, dial, and it should be about what I need, you know, paired with my maps. The classic Swiss Army knife. It's got the scissors and the small blade, tweezers. So for my electronics here, I've got a rechargeable battery pack. I'll charge this while I'm in town, and I should be able to get 2 full charges of my phone off of this, which I think if I'm running in airplane mode or you know, just turning it off when I'm not using it, that should be able to get me through most of the stretches between towns. For the actual cell phone, this is my old one. I actually upgraded to the Galaxy S4, and I've got a OtterBox case on it, which I'm using it to film this right now, so I can't show that to you, but that's what I'll be bringing. 2 small USB cables and a plug here so that I can recharge my phone and recharge this battery at the same time when I'm in town or at an outlet. The other thing I've got here, so it's a stick pick. Basically, I put this on the end of my trekking pole and pop this out here to clamp down on my phone, and I've got a selfie stick, you know, to shoot video or pictures or panoramas. So that's what I'll be using to do video footage, hopefully. And then I've just got a kind of nice waterproof bag here to put all that junk in. First aid and toiletries. Just keep it pretty basic. Toilet paper, my first aid kit, which I've got, you know, some antiseptic gel, anti-diarrhea medication, some moleskin for blisters, nail clippers, safety pins, some anti-itch and antiseptic gel, and a couple gauze pads, bandages, just some pretty basic stuff. I'll probably put some Advil and ibuprofen, quite a bit of those in there as well. And I'm also bringing just an ace bandage, which I've found pretty useful for, you know, after a day of hiking, if your knees are kind of aching or your foot or something, you can kind of wrap this around it to keep the swelling down, as well as any number of other uses for it. Toiletries, so I've got a stick of sunscreen, toothpaste, toothbrush, some vitamins and ibuprofen there, athletic tape, hand sanitizer, so I just put some Purell in there, soap, and a little thing of bug spray. I've also got some of this Kinesio tape here, athletic tape that's pretty good for, you know, if you've got a ankle or a muscle that's bothering you. So bring a little bit of that. My cooking kit. So I've got the titanium pot here, Snow Peak, and that's what I'll cook most of my meals in. And I might see if I can find a little sturdier piece of aluminum, but I'm going to use that as a lid. So the pot did come with a lid with a handle, and I figured I could just save a little bit of weight using aluminum instead. So I'll see how that works for me. Just a little mesh bag to keep all that in. My stove. This is the MSR. I can't remember the name of it. It's just a pretty popular little backpacking stove. You just screw it onto the can of fuel here and, you know, light it up, put your pot on top. Works pretty well. Works pretty good even in the wind. I'll probably get a windscreen, make another windscreen out of aluminum foil just to supplement that. Titanium long-handled spoon. And the best way to eat meals in the backwoods, you know, as clever and as seemingly useful as a spork is, I think really it's just a fork that can't quite pick anything up and a spoon that can't quite hold any fluid. So I decided to go with just the spoon and scoop all my meals up like that. Little mini Bic lighter that I'll use to light the stove. And then here's my water filter. So the Sawyer Squeeze Mini, which I've used this on a few smaller trips, and it does filter pretty well. It's a little bit slow. The flow rate was, well, I should say it was painfully slow, you know, trying to fill up that 2-liter bag with this guy. And basically a 1-liter bag, which you just, not even a liter, it's smaller than that. I may see if I can find a better one. But you just fill that up with water, screw the filter on, and then squeeze it through. So I think that's what I'm gonna go with, just for weight. I guess I can handle, you know, the slow flow rate of it. Just yeah, we'll see how I like it. And this is just a smart water cap lid, which I found a good trick on YouTube for using this to back flush the water filter when it gets plugged up. You just put the end on there, fill the bottle up with water, and give it a good squeezing. So that'll work. The next thing here, I guess we'll take a look at my actual pack. I've got, this is a trash compactor bag, which I'm going to use to line the inside of my pack to keep most of my stuff dry. That'll be one of my main waterproofing techniques. And here's the bag I'm bringing. So it's a Gossamer Gear Mariposa, which I've used quite a few times now, and it's got some pretty good features overall. It's got the good volume to carry everything I need, good straps, good hip belt, some nice hip belt pockets on both sides, and it's got a removable foam pad here that kind of gives you some cushion when you're walking, but you can pull that out when you stop to sit somewhere and sit on top of it. It's pretty nice, so you're not just sitting on the dirt and rocks. The one thing that I don't like about it too much is I get a lot of back sweat, because it's pretty much, you know, rides right up against your lower back. There's no real way to get any good airflow. And I think that's, you know, the more I look into it, I find that that's just something you have to accept. Backpacking is the back sweat. It's got a real big mesh pocket here on the outside that's real good for just, you know, stuffing whatever gear in. A nice long pocket on this side, and then two smaller ones. So that's my pack. For clothes here, got them kind of laid out what I'm going to be wearing, and I've basically got two sets of clothes, a lighter weight Patagonia shirt here, and a pair of Prana shorts that are just real light, dry real quick. They're synthetic. There's no liner in them or anything, but they're pretty good shorts, pretty lightweight. And then the other pair of clothes, I guess, is a pair of pants. You know, some synthetic. They're also Prana. Pretty good pair of pants. And a long sleeve snap button-up shirt here. This thing's also pretty light and it's got some pretty good ventilation and everything. And this material dries really quick, which is good for, you know, the problem I was talking about, back sweat from your pack. Just the best way to counteract that is with a quick drying shirt. You know, if you can take your pack off and rest for a few minutes, and your shirt's dry by the time you're ready to go again, then you're good. I've got the Outdoor Research sun hat here, which's got a pretty wide brim. I'll probably supplement that with a bandana if I need extra sun protection on the back of my neck or whatever. And I kind of like the way this hat, the cut of it, the way the bill sits. It's got a pleasing look to it, so that'll do. Just a pair of, you know, nothing fancy, polarized sunglasses and a little bag to carry them in. For underwear, I've got a pair of the Ex Officio boxer briefs, which are pretty good synthetic material. I've, you know, on hikes I've worn those and swam in them, and they also dry pretty quick, so those will be pretty good. I'm going with the Darn Tough wool socks. These are a little bit thick, and I think my feet are going to get a little bit warm in some of the early sections, But overall, they're pretty sturdy. Heard a lot of people saying they get real good mileage out of them. And I got 2 pairs of those that I'm bringing. For my shoes, I've been trying to get the shoes figured out for a little while. And I just got these Brooks Pure Cadence that have been working pretty well for me. Nice, lightweight, breathable mesh material. They'll get wet pretty easily, but I'm hoping they'll dry out just as easily. Trekking poles. Got the Black Diamond Alpine carbon cork here. It's got a pretty nice cork grips and the flick lock method for extension. I don't know how that compares with the twist lock kind, but they've worked pretty well for me so far. For my sleep clothes, I've just got a beanie, an extra pair of those same boxer shorts, a pair of synthetic long johns, and a long sleeve shirt. Mosquito head net that's going to double as my clothes bag. You can put everything in there. Some outdoor research sun gloves. Keep my hands from getting sunburned when I'm hiking. That extra pair of darn toughs. And then I'm going to try these out. The Ingenie toe socks, which a lot of people say when you start getting blisters, toes rubbing together too much, these are a real good option for that. So, and they're a little bit lighter than the wool socks, so I'll probably keep 1 pair of the darn toughs for sleeping in, and then alternate between hiking in these and the other pair of darn toughs. So that's basically it. I guess I missed here just a bandana and a pack towel, multi-purpose items there, hopefully. And that's the basic rundown of my gear. I'll put some information on what the weight of everything comes out to. I think my base weight, if I exclude all the stuff I'll actually be wearing on my person, I think I'm sitting about 16, 17 pounds right now. I might see if there's a few more options to trim down a little bit more. But that's what I've got. Alright. See you later. Alright, so here's my tent. This is what I'll be using on the trail. It'll basically be my home away from home for the duration. My shelter. It's a contrail tarp tent. So the idea of it is that you use basically one of your trekking poles here as the main support, and just use tension from a couple lines to give you your pitch. So you can see the inside. I've got my pad laid out in there. It's pretty roomy, and it's got a integrated bug net here, so fully enclosed all the way around, and that zips up. That'll keep mosquitoes out and keep ants from crawling on me, which is one thing about just sleeping under just a tarp, is getting bit by ants and stuff in the middle of the night. So it's got like a bathtub shaped bottom here that you can adjust the tension on the sides, and basically it's super easy to set up. Only takes about a minute or two. and because you don't have a bunch of poles that go with it to set it up, it ends up weighing about 24-25 ounces, which is just about 1.5 pounds, so considerably lighter than, you know, a normal tent. Here's the back. See the pitch. It's got two sort of integrated poles there that just kind of lift the bottom, and you can see the netting goes all the way around, connected to the tarp there. So 2 stakes in the back, 2 in the front, and 1 pole supporting it there at the tip. So I've tested it out in high wind, and it did pretty well. I didn't have these extra straps staked out, which I think I'll end up bringing a couple more stakes and some line to get those. That'll give me a little bit more stability in the wind and also in the rain. So I've tried it. I tested it out the other night in a big thunderstorm that came through, staked out those sides, and stayed pretty dry. But the one condition I guess I haven't tried it in is high wind and high rain, which I'm sure we'll see. So anyway, there it is, and I'll just show you here what it looks like collapsed.